It's a big decision to decide to give up your baby for adoption, and most times expectant mothers are pressured to end the life of the unborn child. But there are so many people and agencies out there willing to assist birth families and adoptive families and create loving, successful adoptions. I want to welcome to the show Sarah Jensen, the director of the Adoptive Center of San Diego, and Caroline, birth mother to adopted daughter Penelope. Welcome to Smart Life, Sarah and Caroline.
Thank you.
I know it's Caroline, correct? Yes. And so first, let's start with a little bit of your story. Tell us where you found yourself when you had to face this very important decision.
I was 30 years old at the time I became pregnant with my second child. At the time, my son was 7, and I was a single parent to him for those 7 years. The father was not in the picture, and I started to think, I've done the single mother thing, and I think that my daughter deserves to have 2 parents. So that's when I started to creep open the door to adoption. And I was referred to by a friend to Sarah Jensen, and the things she told me, they say that it's too good to be true, but it's actually become better than anything I could ever imagine.
Oh, that's amazing that you said that, because that's definitely my story too. Talk to us a little bit, Sarah. What did you tell her that day?
Well, we talked with Caroline or any woman that is facing an unplanned pregnancy. I let them know that if it was unplanned, none of your choices are easy. Having an abortion is legal, but it's certainly not an easy decision. There's consequences, emotional, spiritual, physical. Being a parent when you're not prepared is not easy. I tell people it's not even easy if you are prepared. And adoption's not an easy decision, but what women don't understand is that there's joy. There's joy.
There's so much joy.
So talk to us a little bit about that joy, because most people, I think, certainly if I were facing an unplanned pregnancy, I'd be thinking, okay, abortion's the easy answer. I'm just going to do that and it'll just be over. Because if you adopt out your child, what if you don't like the parents that the child ends up with? I would just think that your mind could drive you a little crazy on that stuff.
Definitely.
Tell us what happened.
I tell women that the difference between abortion and adoption is empowering. And the reason why I tell them that is because what they don't know oftentimes is you choose who the parents are. Through Sarah and the Adoption Center of San Diego, I said who the parents are. And I was picky. And actually, Mark and Bethany are the parents of Penelope Jane. PJ is what we call her. And we have the best relationship. I'm engaged to be married, and she goes to bridal shows with me. That's the kind of friendship we have. I mean, it's beyond just our daughter. We have a friendship. We're like sisters. She told me one day that she has never had a sister. I've never had a sister, and that I'm like a younger sister for her. And that's when I tell women, there is more to adoption than you could ever imagine. It's beautiful, and you get to see your child grow. And unlike abortion, I didn't lose my baby. I gained a family. And that is my family.
That's such a great story. It
it's
really
amazing.
is. And my story's similar. I told you we actually travel with the birth mom, and our adoption was closed. But I spent years, or actually months, I guess, looking for her, because I had to thank her. When I put that precious little bundle to bed every night, I thought, I have to find this woman and thank her. So I thought I wanted a closed adoption before it happened, and then I spent so much time and resources trying to find her again. And of course, same relationship, very, very close, such a blessing to us. Really gained a family, like you said. So what do you think is the most predominant misnomer of women who are facing this situation that you end up talking to on both sides of the adoption story?
Well, they don't think they have choice. Many times it's very, I hear from a lot of crisis pregnancy counselors that when they bring up adoption, they'll say, I wouldn't go through 9 months and then give the baby away.
Right.
I have a girl right now that I'm working with that has made an adoption decision. She told her parents they thought she should have had an abortion. And her mother actually said to her, what's the difference? You're still going to come home without a baby. There's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
That
certainly
baby.
Caroline is walking proof of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's Penelope PJ today? Tell us about her life.
Actually, right before I came here, I got a picture of her doing her artistic work. She was drawing all over the place and is so happy. And my biggest concern, as Sarah knows, is my son. I didn't think he was old enough to grasp exactly what I was doing. And she had mentioned that maybe if I just say Mark and Bethany are my friends, and he doesn't look at them like the baby stealers, that, you know, they can start to build a relationship. And that's exactly what they did. So when I finally did get to the point where I mentioned to my son, hey, you know, Mark and Bethany, and he's like, they're the ones that are going to have our girl, right? And I said, yeah, how do you feel about that? I'm okay. And I'll tell you, every time I ask him, I'll never forget when I asked him afterwards, how is he feeling? He looked at me, he grabbed my hand, he goes, Mom, PJ is happy. And every time we go see her, she's smiling. And that's all I wanted for my sister. So I'm okay. Because Mark and Bethany, they're great with her. So
How old was he when he said that?
7.
Yeah. Wow.
7 years old.
That's powerful. And I know there are so many stories like that, and that's why I want to get these out there so badly, because there really are a lot of choice, as you used the word, a lot of options regarding adoption. One of the options is a closed adoption, where if you really want to forget this experience ever happened because of a rape or the other things we hear, even though pregnancy from rape doesn't result very often, still when it does, if the person just wants to move on, adoption is still an option, because closed adoptions today, they're pretty tight, right?
Well, there's not many closed adoptions that take place, but I always tell the women that I work with, all my families are open to a fully open adoption, meaning relationship. But if she wants to not have any ongoing contact, I and the adoptive parents would certainly respect that.
And there are varying levels of that too, because I know in my particular birth mother's situation, she does not want her other children to know about the adoption, but she makes time to come and spend time with my son Samuel and with our family, and to know us and to get that reassurance. And I send her the baseball pictures and all that. You know, nothing takes place in a child's life that you can really share that joy except with a dad. But as a mother, there's a really special bond to that birth mom. And I know that when she gets those pictures, or when I tell her he's sick, or you know, he had a special incident where he had a bad burn and he was in the hospital, and I knew that her heart was aching just like mine. To shoulder those burdens together and to still have a child to think about and laugh with and enjoy and watch grow, it's really a unique blessing that you can't get anyplace else. Really, that unplanned pregnancy, when you look at it, is an opportunity, isn't it?
It's such an opportunity. Mark and Bethany couldn't have kids for 8 to 10 years, and to know that I fulfilled that, that's another reason why I say it's empowering, because I did something that not even modern science can do. And they say I'm their heroes, but how could that? I know that that makes sense to them, but I look at that and say, you're my heroes, because they're doing it. They're giving everything to my daughter that I couldn't be there as a man for her, and that's what I wanted, and they're doing it. They're doing everything I could dream, and more.
And more. You know, you are a hero, though, because what a selfless gift to give, to understand, first of all, the importance of a father to a child, and to want to give your child that gift, even if it meant that you wouldn't get to raise her. But it doesn't surprise me, because whenever you try to bless like that in your life, it always comes back in spades, doesn't it? Right. How many of these great stories like this do you have, like Caroline's?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in San Diego. In May, it'll be 21 years. So I've done 500 adoptions.
Wow. Wow. It's got to be pretty rewarding work.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Caroline, what do you want those moms out there who are facing decisions like this to know?
I want them to know that I know the fear. I know that you feel like you've hit a brick wall and that there's no way out. But I also want them to know that when they see my face and it lights up when I talk about my adoption, their face can light up too. They can have a blessing. This is not a fluke. This is not a one-time deal. They can have the exact same experience I have. I want them to have hope, to know that they don't have to choose abortion when open adoption is a wonderful, rewarding option.
And Sarah, how can people get a hold of you and your agency?
Our website is sdadopt.org.
sdadopt.org. And of course, I want to invite folks to feel free to go back to my website, the Dr. Gina Show. It is www.drginashow. I have adoption information on there, special needs adoption information on there, and also, perhaps most importantly, I am definitely taking up the cause of helping fund these adoptions, because one of the most prohibitive parts, as Sarah and I discussed, is the fact that it is very expensive up front, and we want to help to offset some of those costs. So if you'd like to donate or you'd like to partake of those options, please let us know. Thank you so much, Sarah and Caroline,
thank you
for
for having
being
us.
with us.